year on several projects aimed at bringing cultural and artistic opportunities to families in Central Oregon. I'd like to provide you all with some background information on me and what has led me to this current passion. I grew up in Portland. I have a Bachelor of Science degree in Human Development. I spent much of my early 20s working with families of special needs children through Portland Public Schools and also in the field of juvenile justice. Needing a break from the emotional demands of that line of work, I joined my father, brother, and uncles in the family business. I spent several years working with overseas factories importing components for our manufacturing company. This led to a sales position, which I traveled the country marketing my grandfather's patented invention, the no-drip caulk gun. It was hysterical. I went to hardware shows all over the country in a holster with caulk guns on the side of them, and they did not drip. After having twins in 2001, I moved here to Central Oregon to raise my family, provide them with the kind of childhood I didn't feel like they could receive in a big city like Portland. I bought a FedEx ground route. We were independent contractors with FedEx. I owned the trucks, hired the drivers, I managed all the finances, ultimately doubled the route and sold the route for double what I paid for it in under 2 years. I used some of the proceeds to purchase a startup franchise here in Deschutes County called Stretch and Grow. It's a preschool fitness curriculum that's taught on-site in preschools and daycares. Again, within 2 years, I'd also purchased the Portland location. I had a staff of coaches providing exercising education to thousands of happy kids throughout Deschutes and Multnomah counties. I sold the Portland territory for twice what I paid for it and stopped teaching classes in Deschutes County in 2009 when the economy forced many of my clients out of business, and those who remained able to continue providing childcare could no longer afford to pay for my services. Throughout the years that I owned Stretch and Grow, I partnered with Working Wonders Children's Museum on several projects, including donating my time and services to redesign their Busybodies exhibit. I taught classes for school field trips on site in the museum. Within a month of putting Stretch and Grow on hold, in 2009, I was offered and accepted the position with Working Wonders as their Education and Outreach Director. My job was to design interactive exhibits for the museum and to engage in partnerships throughout the community in efforts to make the facility available and accessible to all families of Central Oregon. Unfortunately, Working Wonders closed their doors due to inadequate funding. I've spent the last 3 years researching why Working Wonders failed and why other children's museums across the nation have stayed open. This, you guys would like to take a look at this. Go ahead and get started. This is the Please Touch Children's Museum in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I had the opportunity to visit Please Touch Children's Museum in May of 2011. This children's museum opened in 1976 and 3 years ago moved into this facility. This is Memorial Hall. It's a 33,000 square foot historic building. They've never closed their doors since 1976. When they moved into this building 3 years ago, the building was falling apart. It was ready to be destroyed. Originally, this was built in 1876 to house the art exhibit for the centennial celebration. They saved this building. In addition to saving their building, their admissions tripled. They went from about 100,000 people a year to 350,000 a year in under a year, just by moving into this building. I had a meeting with the VP of Development and the VP of Marketing as part of my research and as an excuse to take a vacation to Philadelphia by myself. It was fantastic. Basically, I asked them, what has the museum done right? I know why Working Wonders failed. I saw what happened. What did they do right in order to maintain themselves and to thrive for 35 years? Their answers were simple. Know who you are and adhere to your mission. This is who we are. This is where we are. Second, create independent, sustainable, revenue-generating resources to supplement admission and membership. They have this amazing carousel. They actually shipped the carousel in pieces, piece by piece, back to Germany to have it refinished. and brought back. They spared no attention to detail. They did it right. And their third and final bit of advice for me was to have events and programs that keep people coming in the doors for as many hours as possible. I think a misconception is that a closed space saves money, but their philosophy was it doesn't make any money either. So find ways to have people coming in those doors and paying for it for as many hours as you can staff. I believe very strongly that Deschutes County families need a children's museum. So, what is a children's museum? Is anybody familiar with the concept of a children's museum? And feel free to interrupt me. I have this to keep me on task because I tend to talk. But if you have any questions, please feel free to interrupt me. A children's museum. This is actually a picture of one of the exhibits inside the Please Touch Children's Museum. Children's museums engage children through play to think critically and creatively. According to the Association of children's museums help children develop essential foundational skills. They respect childhood. They light a creative spark for discovery and lifelong learning. They are environments where families connect in meaningful ways. They serve as town squares and build social capital. They are uniquely positioned to help reverse stigma and discrimination. They strengthen community resources that educate and care for children, and they contribute to local economies to reduce economic barriers. A children's museum looks very different than a museum. The reason that Please Touch is called Please Touch is it is hands-on, it is messy, it is exploratory, it is creative, it's exciting. There's a lot of art and discovery and creativity, which is one of the many reasons why I wanted to present this idea to this commission. According to the Downtown Urban Renewal Plan, this is my family, by the way. My partner has been a firefighter with Sun River for 18 years, and those are our 6 children. They are all here in the Redmond School District. Families are the main context of learning for most people. Learning within the family is usually more lasting and influential than any other. Family life provides a foundation and context for all learning. Again, according to the Downtown Redmond Urban Renewal Plan, which I pored over, Redmond is a family town, as evidenced by the high proportion of children and youth under age 20. Approximately 50% of Redmond's population's formal education stops after high school. And in my experience, the downtown core provides little or no education or family entertainment opportunities. There's a fabulous bookstore, which my children and I have a wonderful time in. Lots of great restaurants, but nothing like this. Many local residents will drive to Bend for concerts, plays, even movies. And we have a movie theater here. People are looking for an experience, not just a movie. Music, art, drama, learning through play are no longer offered in a consistent and meaningful way in our schools. Parents are thirsty for more options to provide for their children, and the next generation of Redmond residents need a variety of cultural experiences to expand and develop their creativity, ingenuity, and depth. Our kids are our future leaders. They're the ones that are going to continue on the urban renewal plan, and we need to lay a foundation for them to lead them towards a diverse, vibrant, and sustainable future here in Redmond. So, my research has concluded that although we need a children's museum, due to our city's population and the narrow focus of a children's museum, one cannot sustain itself here in this market. That was really disappointing to discover after all this time researching. But families must have opportunities to expand their knowledge base and must have access to diverse learning experiences. So I continued my research, but I spent more time on my family, full-time stay-at-home mom. I was the chairperson of the Tom McCall Elementary movie night. That is going to be on my resume. That was a wonderful experience. We played a newly released DVD on our school's computer system in the gymnasium. Families brought blankets and pillows, and we didn't charge admission. We gave away free popcorn. We sold red licorice vines, water bottles, and extra popcorn if anybody wanted extra. On a Friday night, when the Ducks were playing a football game, We had 350 people come to our gym to watch a movie that they could go watch at home, on the floor. We gave away free popcorn and we netted $150. This is just a DVD, you know, and some popcorn from Costco. So I developed a new concept using a children's museum and the Tower Theater and McMiniman's movie houses as models. My mission for this project is to rejuvenate a historic landmark in downtown Redmond, creating a theater to engage the community in experiences that comprise of artistic, cultural, and educational elements. We want to create a place for our community to dream, play, learn, escape, and commune. Using music, film, visual arts, performing arts, history, and the power of play, we plan to reach new heights of interest and delve into the depth of character of Central Oregon. A children's museum can't sustain itself here, but a theater, I think, can. We want to become a model of excellence in the community, inspiring learning and cultivating connections to each other in the world using history, music, film, the arts, science, and the power of play. I have looked into the bank building on the corner of 6th and Deschutes to create a dramatic movie house with a performance stage to host performances from all over the world. I have plans to renovate the building so that the building itself will serve as an exhibit to experience first-class architecture and design. I want to host traveling art exhibits, musical performances, film festivals, conferences, plays, weddings, dances, hoedowns, fundraisers. On the left is the interior of the building today. On the right is my vision. By designing the finished work to reflect the architecture of the 1920s, creating an elegant ballroom for a variety of events, Vault Theater will put Redmond on the swanky cultural map. I haven't found anywhere here in Central Oregon that I would have my own wedding reception. I want something really fancy for us to really be an example for who we are. I mean, this building was built in 1919. It's a majestic building, but it's a brick shell. It's been sitting vacant for 3 years. The first time I went inside, there were dead pigeons on the floor, covered in pigeon poo. It has no heat, no air, no water, no plumbing, no electrical system, and frankly, no charm. It's sad. It's very sad. The building requires about $250,000 just to renovate it into a vanilla shell. This is what it looks like right now. This is in the middle of downtown. This is right in front of your amazing sculpture that you have of that running horse. Right there by the gate, and this is what it looks like inside. It's sad. $250,000 on somebody else's building just to bring it up to code, just to put in a furnace. It's prevented me from being able to move forward. I've looked at other sites in the downtown core, and I'm presented with the same problem. This is the other building I looked at. Even to have a fundraiser, even just to begin. Before I can create anything of significance, the renovation costs of the facilities available are prohibitive. I've tried establishing a nonprofit board to begin fundraising, but the daunting task of renovating a building that belongs to someone else is not an attractive project. But there's good news. I'm not a quitter. And I found an opportunity to fast track the concept. It's a rare opportunity that can test the community's interest in traveling, family-friendly, cultural, and artistic exhibits. I'm in negotiations with OMSI right now to bring 3 of their traveling exhibits to Central Oregon. Welcome to animation. Enter the exciting and visually rich world of animation, a highly interactive traveling exhibit that brings together art, math, science, and technology. I would like to bring these exhibits here to Central Oregon to use as a fundraising opportunity to begin developing fundraising opportunities to finish my theater. This is something that they have done, packaged, ready to go. OMSI books out their exhibits for several years at an extraordinary cost. There just so happens to be a gap in their bookings right now. Due to cancellation, my inquiries into the idea were perfectly timed. A lot of divine intervention on that one. I've negotiated 6 months of exhibits at less than 50% of their asking rate. These are some examples of what it looks like.
Do you have a site at this time for something like this?
I do. That's my very last slide. I'm presenting this opportunity to this commission because I would really like to keep this opportunity here in Redmond. There is interest throughout the county. I've been approached by Deschutes County Library, the assistant director of the Deschutes County Library, to assist them in remodeling the Redmond Library. They would like me to design some children's museum-like exhibits for the Redmond Library. They've talked about moving the children's library outside of the building that they're in right now. So there is interest in this idea throughout the county. I want to keep it here. I'd like to ask the commission for help in adopting this project as your own project. I need some assistance ensuring that this unique opportunity does not pass us by and find its way to Bend. This is a fantastic opportunity to raise some money to put into our buildings downtown. You drive downtown and you look at these amazing buildings, but if you peek in the windows, I know I'm not the only person that would like to have something downtown that just can't because the renovation costs are too extraordinary. We would have exhibits running from June through December 2012, which gives me 3 months, which is not enough time to establish my own 501c3, which is why I'm coming to you. There are grant opportunities available, but not to renovate somebody else's building, not to start up something that might happen, not to design something that is in my head. This is done. This is packaged, ready to go, and it's sold to children's museums throughout the nation, except for this little window. And I'm grateful that I found it. I believe that with the support of the Commission and the City of Redmond, these exhibits will draw patrons from all over Central Oregon. These exhibits specifically are designed for grades K through 8. There are 2 other exhibits that I don't have slides of here. The first one is Eat Well, Play Well. Those are designed for kids much younger, preschool age. And the other one is Moneyville, which looks actually very similar to some of these. But they're banks and they teach kids all about money. And again, those are maybe age 4 to 10. And then this one is K through 8. So this particular exhibit, it's over 30 exhibits. Hands-on interactives, audio, video components, computer-based activities, graphic panels, text, blah, 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 blah. Starting in June, we would have the Moneyville and the Eat Well, Play Well at the same time. And then September through December is when animation would come, which coincides perfectly with school starting, field trips. I think that the school district would be very excited to have a piece of OMSI here locally. So here's what we need. 6,000 to 7,000 square feet. For the summer, we need about 2,000 to 2,500 square feet. These are the minimums for the building. Obviously, there aren't a lot of places here in town that are ready for this. And my idea, I don't even know if they're ready either, but this is where I think we should go. This is the gymnasium at the Evergreen School, right up the street. I think that it is a fantastic opportunity to test, market my idea. And it's right here in front of us right now. What OMSI needs is $24,000 down. I've negotiated that the balance would come as a percentage of the proceeds. Of course, we need some staffing, but I'm looking around at all these people that showed up tonight, and I think you guys could hang out there and give tours here and there, right? I think there's a lot of volunteer opportunities as well. I also have connections up at COCC for internship opportunities with their early childhood education program. Yeah, is it going to cost money? Sure. Do I have any? No. That's pretty easy. But I think that I've run the numbers, and without grants, with ticket prices at $10 a piece for 6 months, we could break even. I think with the support of the commission, there are some grants available. The Oregon Cultural Trust has a grant available, and the Oregon Arts Commission has 2 grants that are available. This is bringing a package deal: art, culture, education opportunities, bringing it here to us. So that is my idea, and I would really love to answer any questions.
And when you and I spoke and Cameron spoke, we did tell you we don't have any money. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're running our own campaign on trying to raise money for our around the clock gallery that we have going and all too. So do you have anybody that's willing to invest this and help you get started with this $24,000?
I do. I'm really hoping that the Evergreen building would be an option. In running the numbers, paying $5,000 a month for 6 months to house this is prohibitive. I think that with the grant, with some of the grant opportunities available, and of course we are going to be charging admission for 6 months. And OMSI also has offered to help write some grants. They need to book this. They need to be able to prove to their board that traveling exhibits make money. If they have a gap in their schedule, they don't look very good either. They want to help us, and they have some opportunities. I do have some opportunity for the down payment, and so I'm just looking. This by June on my own to create a board. I have some members of the community here that are here in support that I've spoken with that have really helped me to formulate these ideas and to fine tune it. John Stark over at Ready has been spectacular. I've met with Heather once. The last meeting we had, I unfortunately threw out my back in the middle of the pasture and didn't get to meet with her, but there's interest here, and it seems like everyone that I talked to, yourselves included, because that's when I brought up the idea of OMSI. It's getting me just a little bit closer. And so I've kind of reached the limit of where I can go with this without the community support. So I'm here to accept any ideas or offers of support or assistance, not strictly money, of course.
And as Cameron mentioned, we don't have our foundation 501c3 at this time.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, you mentioned.
Oh, well, then never mind.
Yeah, that's in progress for us.
Okay.
The only 501c3 we have to work with is the municipality of Redmond. So, it probably, there's 2 different, we're talking about 2 different kinds of 501c3s that we need to make this work for you. Am I right, Heather?
Mm-hmm. Is that how it works? Yep.
Yes. You said there's an animation and a nutrition and a banking.
Correct.
Okay. My suggestion, of course, is always to look at who in the community provides those kind of services and to target them. So with animation, you say, well, there isn't anywhere local, but there's a big national one called Walt Disney. What's wrong with approaching them?
Absolutely, and those kinds of sponsorships are certainly things that I've looked at. Looking at U.S. Bank to sponsor, maybe they pay our electric bill for a month. Those kinds of sponsorships. The animation was designed and created by the Cartoon Network in partnership with OMSI. OMSI has a lot of creative suggestions for support for this project.
So 24,000, 50%?
24,000 is 20%. Moneyville originally books at $100,000 for 3 months. Negotiated them down to 75 on that one. I'm sorry, animation is usually $100,000. Negotiated them to 75,000. That includes $15,000 worth of shipping. Moneyville is usually 30,000 plus $5,000 for shipping. I've gotten them to commit to us for that at 17.5. And Eat Well, Play Well, I'm still negotiating that maybe they'll just throw that in for us because it's only about 500 square feet. So,
Redmond School District also has a foundation.
mhm,
Have you approached them?
I have not.
Jillian, what's their foundation for?
The foundation is basically to support curricular activities.
Is that Taproot?
No.
Because Taproot was
No,
very
it's a
supportive of.
separate foundation.
Okay. Any other questions?
I just have to say, who are you?
I'm just a mom.
I'm amazed and impressed.
It's a passion. It really is. I think it's something that is so valuable to this community after being a part of something like that and seeing the benefits of it.
Can you tie a brand into any of this material?
Into what material?
Well, for example, if the bank is a bank, is a bank unit, can you put Bank of the Cascades?
If I were
integrate it into the displays, because that will certainly encourage somebody to support it. And all banks have a requirement to donate to community activities.
right.
All banks.
If I was designing this exhibit myself, I would have the opportunity to do that, but OMSI has already designed and created the signage and everything else for this. We certainly could ask the banks to sponsor the exhibit. We could have our own, I did bring a copy of OMSI's contract, and they have specific things that you can and cannot do when marketing this. Sure, we could ask a bank to sponsor it, but we could not change any of the existing displays inside. But we can hang all kinds of things outside.
So we're looking at, or you're looking at a total of $120,000.
Just for the exhibits.
Just for the exhibits. The $24,000 is the down payment on that.
Mm-hmm.
And when would that $120,000 total need to be met by for OMSI?
We're in negotiations for that, and they are not asking for the total amount specifically. They want the $24,000 down to book all three exhibits. They will negotiate a percentage of the profits up to that $120,000. So if we don't, bring that much money in, they're willing to negotiate that. They would like a monthly payment. So hopefully by the end of the 6 months, we would have that paid off. I've estimated approximately 5 part-time, under 30-hour-a-week employees is what we would need at a total cost for the 6 months of about $63,000.
You wouldn't try to do this on volunteer only?
I would definitely try to do it on volunteer only, but I figured it was fair to look at what the cost of actually hiring people would be. I also anticipate about $17,000 in, electricity and computers and phones and advertising and those kinds of things. We're looking at a total cost of about $200,000 from start to finish. OMSI charges $12 a head into their exhibit. I think $10 a ticket would be a fair price for what we're offering. I'm really hoping that with a 6-month limited duration, that taking a risk on this, because if we fail, we've still provided them with something. If we're, if OMSI doesn't get their full payment, if I have to wash dishes.
When do they have to know?
They would like a booking as soon as possible, of course.
Just out of curiosity, have you done the math to break it down to number of people attending and percent of kids or population or?
We need to sell 100 tickets a day at $10 a piece to break even. That's with a free building, not having to pay for rent. But that includes everything else, 100 tickets a day. How many did we have a day at the skating rink?
We average between 60 and 70, and that's at $4 a pop.
$4 a piece. Usually in a children's museum, there is not a timeline. If you pay to get in, you can stay all day. It's not a 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 5 hour thing. You know, I think that bringing, especially with the farmer's market coming this summer, bringing all these people into this area starting in June would be great for the city, and of course having it continue on through December. There are a lot of vacations, you know, with the Christmas holiday and the Thanksgiving holiday, where families are definitely looking for indoor activities to do.
Did OMSI offer any insight or support of statistics in terms of draw area, how far people are coming? I mean, this has been out for obviously some time, I would think, and have communities had them come back? Is this a Portland only? Is it statewide? Is it region-wide?
It's national. It will be coming from New York to come to us. It is. They are, like I said, they are booked. I think they have 15 total traveling exhibits, and what they do is when an exhibit retires from their building, if it has, you know, if it's been successful, they begin marketing it nationally to travel. This exhibit comes in 3 tractor trailers, 3 54-foot tractor trailers. This is huge.
Is this an OMSI created?
Yes.
Or just OMSI sponsored?
OMSI designed, created, built.
But they offer it nationwide?
Correct.
Okay.
But was your question, Gordon, specific to what would be the anticipated draw area for the exhibit?
I'm
You
sure.
know, that's where I'm headed.
Yeah.
You gotta have 100 people a day at $10 a pop.
Right.
You're not gonna get that from Redmond.
Well, not from Redmond,
So,
but
so
I'm looking at the whole county.
therefore,
Yeah.
my question, you're talking the county, you're talking, you know, what does OMSI offer any demographics, any, you know, historic perspective in terms of what other communities have done and
Right.
draws and, you know,
I'm sure that
population
they.
bases and that kind of thing?
I'm sure that they do. I don't have those numbers in front of me, but I do know that my kid's school is planning a field trip to OMSI at the end of the school year.
Right.
So I think it might be even fair to look at not just how do these exhibits draw nationally, but to look at our own community. How far will we go for something like this? I know that we are OMSI members. My family is. We drive there 2 or 3 times a year.
Have you
but I
touched
don't-
base with other communities that have done this?
No, I have not. That's really good.
Would they give you a list of those communities?
They're online.
Okay.
They are online. I can see where they've been, where they've come from for the last, I think since 2007. They have it listed online.
Is that kind of when it originated?
I don't know specifically.
Okay.
Gosh, I hate to cut you off, Jenny,
I know.
but we have another presentation that needs to happen before he goes to his next meeting.
Thank you so much for letting me be here.
Thank you for coming in and sharing this with us. You've done a lot for the PowerPoint since we saw it the last time.
Thanks.
A lot more information for us, so
Thanks.
thank you.
Sure.
Mike?